There is an evil little gay man inside of me, and every once in a while I let him out. This is an age-appropriate beverage. Age-appropriate beverage that is not illegal, so YouTube. So, normally on this channel, I teach you how to draw people respectfully. I teach you how to draw people that, you're maybe not used to drawing, and how to draw them in a way that doesn't make them look like an offensive caricature. But what if you don't respect the person you're drawing? What if you want to draw an offensive caricature? What if nothing would make you happier than just nitpicking everything about their appearance, right? And everything that makes you want to vom, just putting it on paper for them to see and be like, here you go, here's a mirror. Here's the fun house mirror of exactly what I think of you. How do you do that? How do you make someone ugly? Lock in, let's go. Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Arthur. This is I Dream of Entropy, the YouTube show where I teach you how to insult someone visually. Today I want to teach you how to do something we normally don't do on this channel. I want to teach you how to draw someone maliciously. Normally I teach you how to treat your subject with compassion and understanding to represent them in the way they want to be seen. Today I'm going to teach you how to do the exact opposite. I want you to picture in your mind's eye someone you hate. Now, hate is a strong word, right? But it's also a strong feeling. It's the kind of thing that, wow, really? The picture isn't here? It should be the first picture. It should be the first picture that pops up. I'm a little mad that they're paying, the search engines not to show you the picture, but you know which picture I'm talking about, right? You know exactly which picture I'm talking about. The video. The one where he does it twice. Yeah. So, you've got somebody that you hate in your mind's eye, and now you're looking at a picture of them. I know. Makes you want to vom, right? But focus on that. I want you to look at every gross little detail of their face. I want you to tap into your inner hater. I don't want your normal, run-of-the-mill, this fella's annoying hate, alright? I want you to tap into that hate that 50 felt for Ja Rule, you understand? So, when you see this man, what do you see? I'll tell you what I see. I see a loser. I see a gross crybaby, a sore winner, who wants to have his cake and eat it too. He's a spoiled little prince. It's not enough to be the richest man in the world. It's not enough to subjugate people who are already at risk to fuel his political ambition, one of which being his own daughter. No, the poor little piss baby wants us to like him too. He wants us to not hurt his little feelings on Twitter, so much that he bought the website. You see how quickly hate can germinate? You see how quickly that can fester? I want you to use that. I want you to use that quick. Because, all I had to do was look at him. His pugly, bloated corpse face and his Habsburg lips, and I can't stop hating. The best part is, he's one of the people who does that fancy little arm wave. You know which people I'm talking about. So, hating him isn't only free, it's mandatory. So now you've got your person and their stupid face, and you've identified everything about their face that makes you want to vomit. All that's left to do now is draw him. So you've identified all those things that make you... but you're still having a little bit of difficulty drawing this person as ugly as possible while making it look like the person. I'm gonna go ahead and recommend you a YouTuber whose work you should study. Meat Canyon. Meat Canyon has been making incredible animations for a long time, and his caricatures of people are very grotesque. He has a style. It's he just has a great, like, he has a talent for making people's faces look strange and unsettling. Like he can make Taylor Swift, a conventionally attractive singer, look like a horrifying hive monster. You know, he's got a talent for making people ugly. So, you know, if you're looking for inspiration, I think that's a good place to start. Like artists like him who can do a really ugly caricature of somebody. But right now, I'm thinking of things about Elon Musk, right? I'm thinking about things about him I don't like, besides the obvious. So the first thing, he's a maggot. So I thought maybe I should draw him as a maggot. I think that would make a whole lot of sense, right? You know. So here he is, in all of his maggoty glory. And I put a little binky in his little baby fist. Because the man has been part of too many baby kink related scandals for me not to take notice. There was a time he was caught posing as a toddler on his alt account, which he admitted to. Like, they had to force him to admit to it, but he couldn't run away from it because his IP address was, like, tracked or something. Like, it is for sure him pretending to be a baby on this alt account, right? And also, he's rumored to have been booted from a local baby fur scene. Now, furries are notorious for being toxically accepting, right? Like, they'll let anyone, and I mean absolutely anyone, join. Elon Musk is so unlikable, he couldn't cut it with baby furs. I mean, and it's not just the personality, but the personality sure doesn't help. Like, the man is a eugenicist, but he neglects his children, like, and wants to father 5,000 of them? Buddy, no, like, we don't need more of you. I mean, maybe more Vivian's. She is objectively hilarious. But we don't need more of you, bud. So yeah, you're gonna want to look at things that you can't stand about that person, and you're gonna want to add stuff from their lore, like things about them that are, you know, humiliating. Include those. Include things that you think might make them feel bad about themselves, or might make them feel embarrassed, if you're portraying it. So I've included, you know, his little baby arms, his little binky, because he's a little baby. You know, I've included his gelatinous appearance. Kind of corpse-like. I know I use that word, corpse-like. There was somebody, I can't remember who it was, who gave the best insult I ever heard. She called Elon a cadaver body bitch, and it's perfect. The man looks like a cadaver. He looks like he's been dead for about a week. Like, I've seen roadkill on the side of the road that didn't look as bloated as the man. And, you know, like, I'm not disparaging people for having different body types. I'm saying that Elon Musk, as grotesque as he is in personality, is also ugly. And we shouldn't ignore that. I think that we should take notice, and we should point it out. Because fascists don't have feelings. They don't get to have feelings, is the thing. When nobody else matters, you don't matter either. You don't matter either. But yeah. I think this has been a really good outlet for me lately. Drawing, Elon Musk as a literal maggot kind of makes me feel a little bit better. 'Cause I know he can't do it. The man has no talent. Well, scratch that. He's got exactly one talent. And that's bullshitting. He bullshitted his way out of so much mess. He bullshitted about how much a Twitter he owned, so he didn't have to pay all that money. He bullshitted about all of his products and what they were capable of and where they were headed and how quickly the timeline was, progressing. Like, the man is just a talented liar. And I might have incorporated something about that if I'd have thought of it, but I didn't. Instead, I'm just drawing him, rendering the skin. Elon Musk has sort of a tacky appearance to his skin, It kind of looks vaguely sticky, oily a little. So I wanted to kind of accentuate that. Make him look a little green. I gave him a green undertone. I darkened the whites of his eyes so that I could give him glowing eyes, and I couldn't decide on what color the glow should be. And then I remembered, of course, idiot, it should be apartheid emerald green. Yeah, just like the emeralds in his daddy's mines. Apartheid emerald green. That's the color that the glowing eyes should be. Can you tell that I really do not like Elon Musk? Can you tell the feelings I have about this gross man? And the best part now is that he's made himself a public figure. So, speech against him is legally protected. I could say anything I wanted about Elon Musk, and because he's a public figure now. I mean, it's not defamatory to say that the man has been involved in all of these, crazy sex scandals. Like the sex bribe horse. Anybody remember when he whipped his thing out and then, had to, at the flight attendant and told her if she hushed up about it, he'd give her a horse? What a weird fella, Like, I don't want to believe the man when he says he has autism, but, because as an autistic man, right, there are certain things that are just not excusable, and that's not an excuse for any of it. However, the man's social graces are so poor. I mean, like I said, he couldn't even get Baby First to like him. And I think it's a combination of things, right? The man already has low empathy, and then he's in this family that's, sustained from apartheid greed. They're literally... He's literally a generation away, from an apartheid, emerald mine. That's the legacy of his father. So, really, his grandfather, I guess I should say. But, really, that's where the money came from. And in the background, I've decided to add a burning Capitol building. And, I wasn't sure what else to add. 'Cause, there's a lot wrong with Elon, and he's actually dangerous, and he's actually eroding away the progress we've been making, as a country. So, I thought the progress flag set ablaze might be appropriate. So So this is just me rendering that real quick. And then we'll move on to the second subject for this video, because I think y'all will find this as funny as I do. Also, I have way too much time now that I'm on vacation, so you're gonna have to deal with me chattering into the microphone. I apologize. I annoy myself. You know, all things considered, I think I did a pretty good job rendering, like, the oily, gross, like, sticky texture of his skin, and making it look extra oily and gross, you know? Giving him those weird cheekbones, and having his hair in the front kind of look stiff because of the hair plugs. Gender-affirming care for me, but not for thee, am I right? I want to talk about Vivian Wilson for a second. I don't want to dwell on people I hate, like, the entire time that I'm filming. So I just want to say, if you haven't, you know, found her Threads account, or her Blue Sky account, or her TikTok account, you should. She's hilarious. And, you should definitely check that out. Yeah. And then I do a little bit of experimenting with the background to kind of figure out how I want it blurred, because I know I want the background blurred to kind of give more focus on the Elon Musk of it all. Give you that jump scare, you know? You know, I could probably have added some embers in the foreground. That was very silly of me not to do. But yeah, I could probably add some embers in the foreground and then add an effect on those embers to make them blur. We're just Patrick Batemaning his eyeballs just a little bit for the meme, you know? We know Elon loves memes. Cretin. Let me not insult him the wrong way. Hey, I don't have a Twitter. If I post this, how quickly do you think I'll get banned? Okay, so now we're looking for another person. This person has recently brought her ideology all the way to the Supreme Court in the UK. Impressive. Impressive to, like, remove an entire group's human rights from the safety of your big castle. Do you not have enough? Like, do you not have enough, lady? Like, that's another thing that I don't get about the billionaire class, right? Do they not have enough? Why do they also have to bother us queers, right? Like, literally, you live in a castle, lady. You live the most fanciful, like, opulent lifestyle, and you still gotta be our problem? Like, so anyway, when drawing J.K. Rowling, I apologize to my English viewers, but I cannot avoid the teeth thing. I'm sorry, but she is the worst English person, so she will get the teeth. And yes, I think that her being English is part of it. Sorry, but as a country, y'all don't have the best track record for, human rights in general. Not to say that America's any better. But they don't call us Turf Island. Kind of giving Alice in Wonderland vibes. So my thought process here, right, is that the spores from the mold, like the black mold growing in her house, have gotten to her brain like cordyceps, right? So that was the idea for this piece, and the rest is just like making her look gross. kind of got, you know, veiny neck. She's got she got a chin. Boy, does she have a chin. You know, I don't understand why she's... you know what? I do understand it, actually. I understand exactly why she hates trans women. She's what we call a cis hun. It's a very unkind thing to say. But she's a very unkind person, you know, and if you dish it out, you should be able to take it. And honey, you shouldn't be calling anybody, like, suggesting any woman is a man. Like, girly pop with a jawline like that? Like, I'm questioning if you're Mr. Ed. Like, this season, what, 7 of My Little Pony over here. Oh, who would she be? I think she would be, the one with the equal sign on her butt. You know? She'd be her. She'd want to take everything special about everybody away, to where everybody's just the same. But yeah, I wanted to give her kind of like a Mad Hatter vibe. Very Alice in Wonderland, very, you know, unbirthday party. I'm only realizing now that I forgot to color in her jewelry. I'm sorry, having to look at that face for too long. Ugh. But this was a fun exercise. You know, there's very little that I can actually do as an American taxpayer, while my country is involved in several genocides, and my community, like the trans community across the world, is receiving assaults from these literal billionaires, right? And, like, this is the one thing, like, literally the least I could do is draw an offensive caricature of J.K. Rowling for fun. It's the least I could do. I also wanted to give her kind of like old lady hands, really accentuate that, you know, boomer attitude. You know, it's giving lead poisoning. It's giving, damn, I wish you were the silent generation, shut the fuck up. Like, it's giving... I know Silent Generation's way before her time. I'm just... the age-appropriate beverage is getting to me. But Arthur, I thought you didn't drink anymore. Well, I thought I lived in a democracy. You know, where people have rights. I guess we all learned something this year. That is horrifying. Now, I don't get the tacky, weird skin vibes that I get from Elon Musk. I just get the vibe that, you know, she puts on kind of like a fake face when she goes out. But I think this is the kind of person, right, who most of the time isn't investing a whole lot in her physical appearance. She puts on the fake face, she goes out, and then she puts on the, you know, the real face at home and sits in her, like, what, fucking turf echo chamber online to cry on Twitter about how cisgender white women are persecuted, and then, like, calling transgender athletes men, even women who are, you know, cisgender, and live in countries where it's illegal to be trans or transition. Like, the level of ignorance on display from this woman, and like the audacity to try and claim that the lesson she wants to teach people, the legacy she wants to leave from her Harry Potter books, is anti-bigotry? Girly pop, you named your man Kingsley Shacklebolt. The only black man. You named your only black man Kingsley Shacklebolt. Girl. Are you kidding me? You made the goblins money-hoarding, hook-nosed, like fellas that play a literal, like, Jewish instrument. You're literally, like, at some point, right, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it might just be a fascist. Like, you can't claim that you're for equal rights for, you know, anybody when you're just, like, leading hate campaigns online against athletes of color because they don't fit your Eurocentric ideas of what a feminine physique should look like. You know what I mean? Like, girl, I'm gonna need you to go back to your castle and sit down, have a long conversation with the mold in your wall, because at this point, you can live with her. Like, we're tired of hearing from you. And that's another thing, right? These people who have all of the wealth and privilege in the world, some of them literally, are after a handful of people. A tiny minority. A little speck of a minority. Like, trans people. There are so few trans people that some of these, like, some of the legislation, like, stateside, targeting trans kids, like, in sports, literally target, like, one girl. Like, one girl is in trouble in the whole state for going and trying out for sports. Congratulations, you passed a bill to bully one child. All over this panic that this, like, weird turf is induced. Now to make the image less, like that. Offset from the background. And I try to, you know, when picking a quote white unquote, I want to pick like a contrasting white. Like if I've got a warm tone for the background and I want to offset that, I use a cool toned white. So like more on the blue side. This was fun. I think I did a very convincing job of a wall full of black mold. I think that looks like black mold. I wouldn't go in there. I wouldn't go in that house. This has been a really fun exercise. And yeah, that's everything that I know about how to draw somebody ugly. Feel free to click that like button. Subscribe for more content like this. Hit my coffee shop below. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.